Mr. Jordan, when you appeared before the Rules Committee earlier this year in January, I asked you to say 5 simple words. The election was not stolen. And you were unwilling to say them then. Can you say those 5 words today?
I've never said it was stolen, Mr. Chairman. I'll give you the same answer. Never said it was. I said we should investigate it. I said on January 6th, when the electoral votes were counted, that Joe Biden is president of the United States. And if you got a problem with that, I don't understand it. The real question is why don't you guys want to investigate what happened?
You said a lot of words just now, but unfortunately, you're still unwilling to say those 5 simple words. And I think that's incredibly important. You know, pushing debunk conspiracy theories and
I'm not pushing
and
any
adding
conspiracy
fuel
theories.
to the fire when it comes to
Your obsession with 5 words seems pretty ridiculous to me.
Yeah, and you know, this works better. I mean, I'll let you speak, and then you can let me speak, and that's the way we work it here. But you know, we saw on January 6th how misinformation could lead some people to violence and ultimately endanger our democracy. Mr. Jordan, on July 27th, you were asked by Brett Baer on Fox News if you talked to the former president on January 6th, and you didn't give a clear answer. You said, and I quote, "I've talked to the president so many, I can't remember all the days I've talked to him, but I've certainly talked to the president," end quote. The next day, on July 28th, you confirmed to Spectrum News that you spoke with the former president on January 6th. When asked by a Spectrum News reporter, Taylor Popolars, whether you spoke to the president before, during, or after the Capitol was attacked, you said, and I quote, "I spoke with him that day, after, I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know. I have to get back to you. I don't know when those conversations happened," end quote. So my question is, you've had 84 days since that interview to go back and check the record. So when did you speak with the former president on January 6th? Did you talk to the former president before, during, or after the attack on the Capitol?
Of course I've talked to the president.
All 3?
Of course I've talked to the president. I've been clear about that. I talk to him all the time. This is not about me, Mr. Chairman. I know you want to make it about me. You want to make it about individuals, other individuals. But this is about the lack of a proper security presence that day. That's what this committee, if this committee is going to do something that's worthwhile, that's what they should be investigating. Of course I talked to the president. I talked to him that day. I've been clear about that. I don't recall the number of times. But it's not about me. I know you want to make it about that, but this is about the, how about this? Why wasn't the National Guard here that day, Mr. Chairman?
If I can reclaim my time, I just want...
Have you asked that question? Have you asked the Speaker, why wasn't the National Guard here?
No, my question to you, I'm asking the question to you.
And I gave you the answer.
Did you talk to the president, former president, before, during, or after the attack on the Capitol? Or was it all 3? The reason why I ask is, you know, you had 84 days since you said you couldn't remember, and you would check. So if you could just clarify the record, was it before, during, or after the attack on the Capitol?
I talked to the president after the attack.
So not before or during?
Right.
Okay, and
I've been clear about that.
Well,
but here, let me ask you a question. You brought up January 6th.
All right. But yeah, but my understanding is that you said to a reporter from Politico that you spoke to him during. So it was now after the attack, or you?
During. No, I did not speak to the president during the attack.
So you admitted to speaking to the former president on January 6th, the same day you voted to overturn the election. You know, facts be damned. And although you've routinely suggested that you're just another member of Congress, speaking with the president, your name comes up again and again in regards to efforts to overturn the election. There is even reporting that back on December 27th, then President Trump spoke with then acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen and others to discuss how to reverse Biden's win. An official who was on that call, Richard Donahue, notes you, Mr. Jordan, as a lawmaker who was referenced. This is the same meeting where President Trump told the Justice Department, according to handwritten notes by Mr. Donahue, and I quote, "Just say that the election was corrupt and, quote, leave the rest to me and our congressman." Did you discuss with President Trump a coordinated effort to overturn the results of the election?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what that is. Of course not. But you brought up January 6th, Mr. Chairman?
What?
You brought up January 6th, and you said we tried to overturn the results of the election by simply objecting?
No, I just know he said by objecting.
Here's what I know.
let me say, I don't know.
Okay, well, I hope I get a chance to respond at some point.
I just don't know of another member of Congress who is deeply enmeshed in all of this as you are, and apparently you're unwilling to give some of the more specific answers to this committee today. I guess, are you willing to tell the Select Committee what you know about events leading up to, during,
I've been
and
clear all
after
along.
that
I've
day?
got nothing to hide. I've been straightforward all along.
And just so you know, I mean, I'm looking here, this is a Politico story here. It quotes you, it says, "Look, I definitely spoke to the president that day. I don't recall. I know it was more than once. I just don't recall the times." This is to Olivia Beavers. And you later said that, "I'm sure that one of the Trump-involved calls took place in the safe room because we were in that room forever." I mean, that's what you...
Yeah, after the thing, that's what I said. But what
Yeah,
does this
but
have to
it
do
was in
with,
the
what does
safe
this
room
have to
during
do
the
with Steve
attack.
Bannon? What does this have to do with Steve Bannon's
No,
contempt?
I'm just, you...
I thought that's why we were here.
Yeah, well, in your opening, you didn't mention Steve Bannon. Mr. Gates did.
No,
You
I
didn't
mentioned,
mention-
I
you
guess I
didn't
did mention
Steve Bannon
Bannon's
at all.
name. I
You-
mentioned it very
you
first.
talked about inflation.
No, I
and
did.
immigration and
No, I
the
did.
other
And I
things.
said there are 4 batches of subpoena. The first batch, Bannon, Meadows, Patel, Scavino, first name I mentioned.
Yeah.
You got to go back. I'm sure the reporter can bring up the record.
Yeah, I think what I come away listening to your opening statement is that you're more outraged by people asking questions.
Not at all.
Than police being beaten
I'm more
here.
outraged by the
Than
attack on
police-
people's
than
First Amendment
police being
liberties.
beaten here on January 6th, and the lives of the people who work for all of us being at risk. And so...
January 6th, Mr. Chairman, can I respond to something?
Yeah, you may.
January 6, 2017, guess who the first person was to object to counting the electoral college results for Mr. Trump? Guess who it was?
It was me.
It was you. Guess which state?
Alabama.
Which state? Alabama, a state President Trump won by 30 points. So you can object to Alabama
No.
on January 6, 2017, and for 4 years, you guys can go after President Trump, the Trump-Russia investigation. You can do that for 4 years. In October of 2020, Hillary Clinton said just weeks before the election, she said the 2016 election was stolen from her. So you guys can investigate that, all based on lies, for 4 years. We're not allowed to ask questions for 4 minutes about the 2020 election. We're not allowed to object in Pennsylvania where they unconstitutionally changed their election law, but you can object to Alabama?
No, well, I'm glad you raised that issue, all right?
Mr. Raskin can object to
So
Florida?
all right, it's my time now. So I raised the issue of Russian interference in our election. I also raised the issue of voter suppression, which was a real concern in that election. I took the action, and I said at the time, it's a symbolic action. I had no senator to join with me, but I wanted to make sure that the issue of voter suppression and
So it's
potential
okay for
Russian...
you to do it?
Excuse me, please. There's a difference here. I did not organize a rally or have meetings to actually
I didn't either.
plan and undermine an
I
election.
didn't either.
And the Capitol wasn't attacked before I made my objection.
There's a difference.
Nor
The difference
the Vice
being where
President-
Democrats are allowed, but
Mr.
Republicans
Jordan,
aren't.
if you don't want to testify here, you're free to leave.
You
I mean,
you
I'm
keep
just-
saying all kinds of things, don't give me a chance to respond.
Seriously, well, I've given you a chance to respond. You won't let me get a question out.
All right, go ahead.
All right?
Ask your question.
The Capitol wasn't attacked before or after I made my objection. The Vice President wasn't rushed to a secure location. His life wasn't threatened. President Obama at the time didn't tweet out a video saying he loved rioters. There wasn't even a vote on my objection. So there's a false equivalency here as an attempt to whitewash what happened on that terrible, terrible day.
I'm not trying to
I was the
whitewash it.
last person off the floor on January 6th. And I came face to face with these people in the speaker's gallery. And I will tell you,
I was there too, Mr. Chairman.
if you want me to describe what evil looks like, it's looking to those faces, those people who, while 3 police officers were in front of the door trying to protect all of us, they were smashing the windows open to get at people. And so, the notion that there's all this outrage today over people asking questions, and there's not outrage over the fact that the police, the Capitol Police, who are here to protect us and who do protect us every day, were beaten. People lost their lives. Others' lives were threatened. The fact that somehow we asking questions about trying to figure out why did this happen, who is responsible, that somehow that is a bad thing. Give me a break. Give me a break. I mean, one of you mentioned political theater. This is not political theater, I don't know what is, but let me just say one of the most genuine statements that I have heard uttered in the Capitol was by Vice Chair Cheney, who, to her credit, is embracing the truth and asking her Republican colleagues to join with her in making sure that the questions are answered in a way so the American people know what happened, so it never, ever, ever happens again. I mean, all of us are concerned about the future of our democracy in the aftermath of what happened. We don't ever want to see that happen again. So that's what this is all about. So we could talk about inflation, we could talk about the border, you could talk about whatever you want to talk about. Fine. You're at the Rules Committee, you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. But the bottom line is, I think what we're doing here today is absolutely necessary.
Can I respond?
You may.
I'm not trying to whitewash anything. Republicans have been consistent. We have condemned violence every stinking time it happened. We condemned it on January 6th, and 600 people are being prosecuted and held accountable for what they did wrong, as well they should be. But it would have been nice if you guys would have condemned the violence in the summer of 2020, instead of making statements like my colleague just read. It would have been nice, instead of the Vice President of the United States raising money to bail rioters out of jail, it would have been nice if you'd have done that. No, no, no. This double standard, you guys get to say all the things you did about Trump for 4 years. You get to have the summer of 2020 and call it peaceful protest. We condemn violence every single time. It'd have been nice if you guys had done the same. I am so sick of the double standard. Americans are so sick of the double standard.
Well, I think many of us did condemn it. I condemn violence wherever it may occur. But, you know, let me just say this. You can yell and scream as much as you want. The bottom line is,
no, I'm not yelling and screaming.
We saw what we saw.
I'm reflecting where the American people are. They've had it with the double standard.
The American people saw.
You're allowed to object. We're not.
No, you could object. That's not the issue. Is not whether or not you have raised an objection, Mr. Jordan. The issue is what transpired that day. The issue is that after all,
we had nothing to do with that.
We'll see what the investigation leads. But after all of this time, still, you know, you cannot say those 5 words that the election was not stolen. With that, I'm happy to yield to the gentleman from Oklahoma.